I can't even find.
Do you need me to share it?
Probably.
Yeah, please. I'm trying to share it on the Twitter thing, and it on. It's the Simply Spooky Twitter. It won't let me do it. No, won't let me do Simply Spooky.
Surprise, surprise.
I forgot
Intro?
to do. Yeah, I'm just looking for the intro now. Here we go. Right.
Hi, everyone.
Sorry, we're a few minutes late. It took me a while to get everything set up, and I was at me counselling and everything. So, yeah. How is everybody?
I have spent the weekend using my cane.
My name is Michael Caine, and not a lot of people know that.
It's a cool looking cane.
I put my back out in the garden on Saturday. The trapped nerve decided it was going to go, hello, I'm here, and made me collapse briefly. Lost the use of my legs for about 15 minutes, and then managed to get myself back up again and spent the rest of the weekend in pain and agony.
How the hell did you fuck your back up then, mate? Were you trying to make a couple of extra additions to your five-a-side football team?
No. Back in 2000, I fell through a ceiling and compressed my spine, and that trapped a nerve.
I feel you.
They couldn't get it back out again. So I'd had acupuncture and electrolysis, and that seemed to sort of calm it down quite a bit. And then every once in a while, if I stand up or sit down for too long or do too much exercise, it plays up. Yeah. And while I was digging in the garden, I went to lift up a clump of dirt, and as I did, the nerve went, and I collapsed on the floor. So, but today's been good. I've managed to do 3 tip runs, which was quite exciting. Filling my car up full of junk.
I've got to do one of those tomorrow.
So it was good fun, but everything is ready for my 50th birthday party at the weekend. So
we will be there. Rachel and I, we will be there at your birthday party.
It's all good.
We've already booked the Airbnb and B&B and everything, and we'll be down there. So, what have you been up to, young Mr. Josh?
Happy birthday early, Mr. Wayne. But yeah, I know all about that trapped nerve. I actually just got back from my MRI appointment last week and got my email back today. I somehow have fluid somewhere. I don't quite know what that means.
Right.
I don't know if that's good or bad, but I know it hurts like hell still.
Yeah.
So the operation didn't help much.
Sorry?
No. I said so the operation didn't help much.
Oh.
No.
At such a young age.
Yeah, I know. I'm not even 36 yet.
Oh, dear. So, what's been happening in your neck of the woods in the world of the paranormal?
Not so much paranormal, but did you see that thing that I posted on my website about the Marines talking about the Chinese pigeon drones?
Yes. Funnily enough, Rachel, because I said to Rachel, start joining in on the show, because she posts things up on the show and stuff, and she's like, no. She was telling me all about it. And I can remember, do you remember we did a show, again, everything we've ever spoken about on here, we've done a show like years ago. We did a show about 3 or 4 years ago when I was still at the old house, and we were talking about all these things, saying that the pigeons were drones and all birds were drones.
Yeah. It's funny because I have a buddy from college, one of my college buddies, and we used to fucking just laugh at them guys because his neighbor raises pigeons. And we had there was this group of guys in America that had a huge YouTube following that pigeons aren't real. And the dude's like, nobody's ever seen a baby pigeon. And my friend was like sending them videos, and he's like, I have videos of them being born.
those for anybody who doesn't know, tell everybody about the Chinese things.
Yeah, the Chinese are using pigeon drones. Some are solar powered. They last about an hour and a half in the sky, and they look exactly and they mimic the flight of a pigeon completely. I know America was already using was it ladybug drones and dragonfly drones in Desert Storm already.
Right, yeah. There's also
I believe they would land them and then it would like be able to like actually missile that target like completely back in the day, like during the Desert Storm.
I know at the moment, well, last year anyway, the Americans, you guys, have developed these little tiny spy drones that look like lace wings that fly about, and they look just like insects until you look closely, and they got like numbers on them and stuff like that. That's interesting. But yeah, pigeon drones. Do they poo as well?
Do they what?
Do they poop as well? I mean, do they fly over?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, they've got to make them as realistic as possible, haven't they?
Exactly.
Right.
So they've got to deliberately poop on your car.
Well, are they using germ warfare with that?
You could.
That's possible.
Get me started. You could do. You really could do. You could give someone. Do you know what? We're going to take out that leader of Hezbollah there. Like fly a pigeon over, drop a little bit of anthrax on him as a poop.
Just like the North and South Korea balloon diaper incidents. I'm sure you guys heard about that, right?
There's been lots of those, and there was in Second World War, wasn't it? The Japanese tried to fly. It was balloon mines, wasn't it? That came over, and they were supposed to have lasted the trek across the sea, and then hit the ground, and boom, they didn't last very long.
It all reminds me of the cockroach in the Fifth Element.
Oh yeah, the guy steering it. Yeah.
The radio.
I'm sorry, when cockroaches are brought up, my mind goes right to Joe's Apartment. If you know that movie from the 80s.
Which film?
Joe's Apartment.
I've not seen that.
Oh, you're in for a treat.
Cockroaches talking to each other and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the Fifth Element when he was steering it. Yeah.
Yeah, he's spying, isn't he, on the military, and he's listening in on what they're saying, and in the end he splats it with his shoe, and what's his face, who was in Faithless, in it.
Yeah.
He literally gets that high pitched whining in his ears when he smacks it. It just reminds me of that. But again, when you look at The Fifth Element, how old that film is. And you look at the idea they had for an insect to spy on military personnel, and look at what we're looking at now.
They've been trying to do that for decades, and it's only been like the last 10 years or so that it's come to fruition. So
which doesn't predate The Fifth Element, which is what we've said before on a few other shows, that ideas that have come up in science fiction films have ended up becoming science fact.
Yeah.
Which is horrific. So Romulus is coming out in a couple of days, or like two weeks. You think there's actually a species out there like the xenomorphs?
Why not?
And what happens when we find it?
Oh, when we find it, some damn fool place will try and capture one so they can turn it into a weapon.
Right?
Yep.
Wonder whose country will do it.
I'd like to have been in the cinema that was giving away the face hugger masks for free.
I have to look that up. There's a bunch of cool popcorn buckets coming out for Romulus.
I'm not sure where it was. There was a cinema in America that was doing a special screening, and everybody that was in the audience got a free face hugger plushie thing. And they were literally giving them out just before the film started. So everybody, and these things were quite big. They were the size of your head. Yeah. And they were just giving them away to everybody that was sitting in the audience. I'm like, I so wish I was there.
By the way, John Hurt took the piss out of his role in Aliens when he was in Spaceballs. Remember? And it comes out and it puts the top hat on and has a cane. He goes, "Hello, my honey. Hello, my baby."
Ugh. Just thinking about going through that, being a space marine, and that just clinging to your face. I think I'd rather shoot myself in the head than be taken by an alien or a xenomorph. Just
He probably didn't realise that he was impregnated by that time.
Poor Bill Paxton.
I don't think I'd like that thing to go and then my mouth.
Make out with his mouth.
Every movie, that poor guy. Aliens, Predators.
Yeah.
It always seems to get a raw deal.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll be back, raw deal.
Okay. That was a bit of a tedious link from Predator to Arnold Schwarzenegger there, wasn't it?
Well, he was in the first Predator.
And Raw Deal.
Raw Deal. I suppose if you're getting face flipped by one of them,
that should be the next movie.
Eh?
I said that should be the next movie, Terminator versus Predator.
Can you imagine that? That'd be a cool film. But I will say one thing. You know, AVP, the first one they did, AVP Wrexham, and they had the legends of the civilization that had been blown up and this, that, and the other. There have been things found in Mayan temples around King's Thrones that have depicted something about their Sky Brothers coming down and hunting with them. I wonder if that's where they got the original story from for it.
There's some people that talk about a race called the Dorsey that's like actually like the Yamcha. I think that's how you say it, Yamcha. The Predators is like what they call themselves, but they're supposedly like, I don't know, you have to look into that. They're called Dorsey. And they're light grays, but like bright yellow. And they come here and hunt and eat us, and they do it like on every planet. And a couple different books. It's in the KGB book, and it's in that Gift of the Stars book. Talks about them.
So I've not heard of that one. I've heard about the
but they use that same technology too, apparently, where they bend the light.
Oh yeah. Adaptive camouflage.
So it could be an offshoot of the Greys.
Yeah, definitely. They definitely are. But yellow, and they're like their whole religion is hunting.
No! Aren't you complete cow? Fuck you! I've just been served. The game served where you give it a card to your partner. Yeah. One day we'll be old, wrinkled, and wearing adult diapers, laughing about the time I pulled this card out and made you speak Indian for the next half an hour.
She's giving you the same cards. Is that what you were playing the other day?
Oh, wow. I actually thought you just got served for a minute. I was like, damn.
You're not doing it.
Would you like to come here and say hello to everybody? Will you please come and say hello?
I'm good, thank you. I'll watch that.
May I have a cup of tea, please? Thank you very much. Now, fuck off.
Rachel, how could you do that on a live show?
I've been planning. When was the
Game, you've been served.
Yeah.
You have to speak in. He's got to speak Indian for the next half hour. She did that to Rachel the other day.
Jobs is pissing himself laughing and I nearly spat my tea everywhere.
Is that proper, Jay?
For those of you who are watching, I am not trying to be racist or anything. I have just been served by my missus. Fuck you, you bloody bastard, you. Fuck you.
Hopefully it doesn't go the way of Apu.
Till 10:20. Thank you so much.
Oh, dear.
Actually got to do this because I made her do this in the middle of Sainsbury's.
Yeah, but there's a difference between doing that in a supermarket and doing it on a live stream.
Right.
She came in here and she had the card behind her back and was beaming from ear to ear. And then she gave it to me and I was like, oh. So that's fair. I made her do it, so I must do it now. Hello. Oh, very good, sir. I
think that's what they call payback, isn't it?
Oh, indubitably.
So, sir, can you explain the importance of Shira to us then, since you're Indian now?
Sorry, what?
I said I want you to explain the importance of Shiva to us now, since you're Indian.
You do not piss her off. That is the goddess of war and death. Do not piss her off. You see, I do that. You can do this with many, many arms.
So is Shiva a male or a female?
Androgynous.
Hermaphrodite.
Androgynous. My husband would be having cat food.
So who would win in a fight, Shiva or Goro?
Oh, Shiva.
I don't know. He's half dragon prince of like Venus.
She's picking on me. I am not picking on her.
Stop picking on Rachel. No, this is totally picking on Mark. How can you even say that? You need to go find like a reverse card or something. Is this Cards of Humanity or what are you playing actually?
It's been a week.
No, that was my fault. I left it on closed bed.
I haven't heard of that.
I did this to her in the middle of Sainsbury's, which is like Target or Walmart. And we were sat down having a cup of tea. And I made her order the teas, talking like this. And the lady behind the counter, we deserve. And so now she has done it to me. So now I have to do this. I am terribly sorry, everybody. This is not me taking the best. She said to me, speak in an Indian accent. This is the best Indian accent I can do.
You know what?
So I'm
you know
going to
what
take the
do?
ropes right now since he's speaking crazy. Have any of you seen that Bigfoot picture, that new Bigfoot picture that's been going around? You guys have any opinion? It's a backside picture. It's bending over. Is that Bigfoot or is that a black bear?
Oh, sorry. Oh, yes, I know the one you mean. It's bent over like that.
Yes.
Joe, we are on Facebook. We're live there now. I'm looking at the thing. We are definitely live on Facebook now. The front legs are well on 20 past 10, I tell you. The front legs, too long for better, I think. What do you think, sir?
I'm trying to find the latest photo.
It's bent over with very ass in air.
I don't know. It's definitely a really weird position if it's the black bear. I mean, it could be a really, really chubby one, and that's why it's bent over weird. And
Lilo.
I have to say, here in America, people that use bear bait nowadays use horrible things like expired candies that they buy from factories and cereals and like stuff you wouldn't want to be eating yourself that's expired, but you're feeding the bear that you're gonna eat. So
Eat?
Yeah, well, that's why people hunt black bears.
I
You never ate bear?
I did not know you could eat bear. I knew you could eat pussy.
Really?
I never knew you could eat bear.
Well,
My cat just
pretty much eat anything.
Just 1 minute, sir.
Right, you move.
You still looking for it, Wayne?
Yeah, I can't find it. I've Googled it, but it keeps coming up with all the original, sort of like the most popular ones. Nothing's coming up for it.
This bloody accent, I tell you. Have you seen the one where the guy is walking with his dogs in the woods and this squawking great big? People say it was a wolf or a dire wolf, but I think it was a great big boar, and it charges after dogs, and it's fucking huge. Have you seen the one?
I haven't, but I have seen the world record boar shot here in America, and the damn thing looked like a hippopotamus.
Yes.
It was shot actually by like a 12-year-old. It was funny.
Yes,
Cabela's
that's-
ended up buying it and putting it on display.
See, I've eaten boar. I've never eaten bear. I've eaten.
Well,
a few
boar is just no different than eating bacon.
Well, with that bloody thing that they shot, you wouldn't eat bacon ever.
It's high in protein, though.
Yeah.
I've had alligator as well before, or alligator.
I have too. I like alligator.
And I tell you what, I do like emu. Is it emu? Ostrich.
Ostrich is nice.
Ostrich.
This
I've
damn,
ever had
damn
ostrich.
accent. Still could be worse. I could be speaking Welsh. Right. When I made Rachel speak in Indian, she sounded like she was an extra from ABBA. It sounded like she was from Sweden and was talking like this. Anyway, she's got her own back of me big time. Latest UAP sightings. What have you got across the pond there, young Joshua?
I actually have a pretty cool one from Brazil that looks like an eye.
Ah, yes. Really clear daytime. Sorry.
Yeah.
Really clear daytime. Yeah. Very, very good, sir. Very good. Have you got anything, Mr. Wayne?
I do have something else here for across the pond, though. There's more people talking about the Miami Mall incident again.
I've seen
That has been brought into light. Apparently, somebody has found some documents that the CIA has released about aquatic species of alien off the coast of Florida. I don't know. I haven't got a chance to look into the files yet, but I'll let you know. It's probably bullshit. But, yeah. I don't know. Everything about it seems so damn fake. I honestly think it's probably like espionage.
Well,
The Florida incident.
this fucking accent. When we saw the videos, we were talking about it before, sir, and we all said these bloody aliens, they're far too tall and look like plant pots.
There was no shadows either.
No, there was no shadows, sir. Damn you in this accent.
You really don't have like a reverse card or anything?
Well, to be fair, if I give her the reverse card, she'll probably do it and give it to me at Wayne's party.
I'd be tempted to use Photoshop and make a get out of jail free card.
Right? Gotta remember, this is gotta be on the internet forever.
Yeah, right? How did I run this?
I'll have the tea, please. Thank you.
This silence got pooped for a reason. Say it.
Yes, thank you very much, Mrs. Apple.
You were very well.
I will sort you out later.
Very well.
I will spank your butt. But. Bastard, bloody bastard. I'm so sorry, babe, if you're watching. Anyway. Wait, what do I was I keep going Irish. What the hell? Yes, what am I trying to say? As these latest sightings, Josh just spoke about one. There are lots and lots of these latest sightings. Hello, Ghost. Crystal clear and in the daytime and like this. It's so difficult speaking this accent. Like this, crystal clear like this.
Yeah.
And have you seen the morphing one? There's a morphing one, and it sort of looks like a shrimp.
No, but you sounded like you said moth, and there's been a new episode of Unsolved Mysteries about the Mothman, which has sparked a ton of more Mothman sightings here in the United States, from all across the country. So that's something else to look into.
Yeah.
And which is not a good sign, since Mothman, usually means calamity.
Well, if you want to say a calamity, we've got over here. We've got bloody stupid riots because, quite frankly, having a pop at people's churches and stuff is not the best way of dealing with things. Should not be doing that. We've got riots across the country. You guys have had bad things going on, and I've heard that there are going to probably be civil war and stuff like this if not stopped.
Wayne, do you want to say that all to me in English?
Yeah, basically we've got riots over here at the moment in like pretty much most of the major cities. There is a minority that are hell-bent on causing trouble, and they're attacking mosques. They're going to the hotels that the immigrants have been put in, and they're trashing them. And it's all off the back of just what triggered it mainly was what happened in Leeds when the social services had taken away a couple of children. They have since given the children back because it kicked off too much and the police were getting attacked, and there was just an element there that decided hell-bent on causing trouble. And then other things started happening, and it literally was a series of events over a short period of time. And certain groups decided they were going to protest against it. And unfortunately, youngsters got involved, and they decided they were going to start trashing places, smashing in shops, and then heading towards mosques. But the problem was that our Boberman hasn't got a clue, and rather than looking at the situation, they've just looked at an answer and solutions, and they haven't.
Kind of like what happened here with our BLM movement. We had a bunch of spoiled white rich kids that went and thought, hey, there's a bunch of shit going on in the town. What a good time to go rob a bunch of places and smash up a bunch of businesses that have nothing to do with the situation.
But there was one thing that I feel, there was one thing that I saw today that melted my heart, and I thought, amazing. And this has never happened before. And that was Catholics and Protestants in Northern Ireland were together in the street, mixed, all and doing all for the same thing. And they stood together as one. And that has never happened before.
Whilst we're talking about this, I won't do the accent because of what was involved and what kicked off the riots.
It was good to see, but there's a lot of controversy going on as to our Boberman and the fact that they'd rather go off on holiday than deal with the situation. The ratings have gone down a lot. There's a lot of call for petitions are being done for the government to be removed, and all sorts of stuff like that. And it is literally just causing chaos, because people think that the first past the post system in the general elections is the wrong way to do it. It just seems that if you are against what the governing body says or does, you're far right regardless. If you disagree with them, you're far right and you need to be quashed. And I remember somebody else that tried that in the 1930s, and look how it ended up. It's a very dangerous game that's being played.
This, again, I'm not going to do the accent because of, just whilst we're talking about this, because of what was involved. The Leeds thing did start a riot and then it stopped. It calmed down. But unfortunately, did you see about the stabbings over here at the Taylor Swift concert?
I did not.
Yeah, it was a Taylor Swift dance class, and it was a young lad, and he originally there was a lot of, and this was social media to blame for this, not the mainstream media this time. Social media put it out, but he was an illegal immigrant, and he just went in there and started running a rampage. But it wasn't. He was a Cardiff-born lad to Rwandan parents, and he worked with the BBC. He starred in an advert for Doctor Who for children in need, and something got to him.
Nobody knows why. Because he's Muslim, I mean, tensions are high over here anyway through certain things that have been going on. But because he's Muslim, sparked off all these riots and all these rioters. Some of the things I can see why they're saying it, but the way they're going about it, no, you don't go and attack old people. You don't go and attack defenseless people. You don't go and attack their churches, their mosques, whatever. They've done fuck all to you. If you want something done about it and the laws change, you have to approach the Bubbermans, and you have to get them to actually listen to you. And you ain't going to do it by going around smacking up people and twatting police and things like that. It's the way of doing it. It's wrong way of doing it.
The problem is that they're not listening regardless. Even if you tell them how unhappy you are, the situation's wrong, the Bubbermans don't listen. And that's why it needs to change. You know, they have forgotten the fact that it's the people they work for, and it's the people that they've got to make the decisions for. So if there is a situation or there is an issue, they should refer it to the people and let the people decide.
Yeah.
And they're not. They think they know what's better for us, even though they're the ones that are not on the receiving end of the decisions they make, like cutting the winter fuel payment for pensioners. They'd already promised before all of this that wouldn't happen, and now they've gone and done it. Yeah. Now they're looking at rolling out the pence per mile road tax. That is going to kill a lot of people.
I can go back into the now and I can say, fuck me gently.
If they charge £1 per mile and you put on your insurance every year that you do 5,000 miles a year, that's £5,000 a month. You £5,000 a year. You've got to pay for road tax. Where are you going to get that money from?
No, unfair. They can't. Unfair.
So they're going to kill this. They're going to kill this country. We're knackered, and we've got to stand up and do something about it. That's why they're all right.
Yeah.
But if you say anything against the Bubberman, you're far right, and it's wrong. Because a lot of people, the majority of people disagree with what they say, but we're not far right.
Governments were started so that people could have a voice. But now the governments have got to such a point that people are not listened to and the people do not have a voice. Only the governments do.
This is why we need the fellas from upstairs to come down and go, hello, what are you doing?
Oh, yes. Definitely, sir.
You know, they need to come down here and they need to go to all these big leaders around the world and give them a good slap and say, what the hell are you doing?
Unfortunately, there is too much corruption, too much greed, and now we voted these buggers in, and now look what's going on.
Yep. Well, supposedly.
Do you think we'd be better off like how it was back in like medieval days where we just all governed ourselves? Different tribes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No, we wouldn't. I read something today that in 1500s in France, okay, a pig had bitten a child, a 12-year-old boy. Pig had bitten this 12-year-old boy, and the wound got infected and the boy died. Do you know what they did? They put the pig on trial, found the pig guilty in court, and hung it.
But the thing is, going back to feudal times does not mean the brain goes back to feudal times.
Right.
I tell you something.
And there was the Pope as well. There was the Pope that was convicted of something. Although he was dead, they dug him up and took him to court.
Yeah.
How does that work?
In Germany, there was a spate of wolf attacks, and they were attributing it to a werewolf or a skinwalker. So what they did, they went out one day, shot the biggest wolf that was. This is true.
Hey, I'm going to say some of the shit we know. What if it was a skinwalker or a werewolf?
It might have been, but
Right.
they killed it, dressed it up in human clothes, took it to court, tried it, hung it.
Yeah.
Bloody accent. I got 8 minutes. Fucking hell. Right. Skinwalker Ranch. People have been coming forward, whistleblowers, including governmental whistleblowers, and saying, yes, Skinwalker Ranch is a doorway. It is an open doorway for lots and lots, not just a few, but lots, like we have already said lots of times. It is a doorway for lots of different places, dimensions, universes, the multiverse.
I also think the United States government is doing their own psychological testing there as well. There's a whole element of that going on with the dark side of the U.S. They're using weaponry and testing it on people around that area. And there's a lot of evidence of that.
Well, there's we've already said when we've done this, and we've done previous shows before, fucking accent, that it's like a hotel lobby. You walk through the hotel lobby, you see lots and lots of doors. That is Skinwalker Ranch. Each doorway goes to a different dimension, different place. Maybe even stargates. We do not know.
Did they find out what was in the? Did they ever find out what was in the Mesa?
No, but I think it is sort of like leftover nuclear stuff from way before us. Like depleted.
Right.
There is something going on there. Maybe it is a conjunction of all different doorways, causes strange energies. I do not know.
We'll have to check it out when you guys come to the U.S.
I would love to come to the US. You put me up. I come stay.
All right.
All right. I use sofa.
The draft's this year, so it's going to probably be a little rough, but okay. No, for real, the NFL draft is in my hometown that I'm in right now, so it's probably going to get like really crazy.
Oh, how long have I got left? 6 minutes. Fucking hell. Right. The Babylonians and Sumerians and all that lot, the statues of their gods, they wear these bracelets and they carry these handbags. Now, these statues that come from the Middle East and the thousands of years ago, they have the same wristwear and the same handbag that the different civilizations from all over the world, including the Indus civilization, India, the Choctaws, the Comanche.
I got the answer.
Go on.
Apple Watches and breathing apparatuses.
Are they got earbuds too?
Yes. Like this.
Even the actually, hang on. Like this.
But accent aside, yeah, there is a bunch of Mayan evidence of this. There's tons of statues and artwork portraying this, that it's going into their nose, it's going into their mouth. It looks like they're wearing smart watches. It looks like they're ancient astronauts.
Well, there's a depiction of the king like that, isn't that?
Yeah, and he's and then he's like inside of a ship, and you can see the shape of the ship. You break it down, and it almost looks kind of like the eye thing that was seen in Brazil a couple days ago.
Can you two just talk for 5 minutes so I don't have to keep
talking?
I don't think that's how it...
I hope you're taking a revenge for this, Mark.
I don't think that's how it works, Mark. I think you do have to talk for half an hour. You can't just keep quiet for half an hour.
I think you got 15 minutes left.
Weekend, Mr. Wayne. Don't you forget.
I'll tell you, if you turn up at my front door with one of those cards, I ain't going to be happy.
Make sure to live stream
I'll
it.
refuse to take it.
Make sure you live stream it.
You know what? I think we should do something like that.
I don't think you should. There was one thing I did find out though the other day. A little while back, there was a thing about the people in Peru, the villages in Peru, that were being attacked by these beings with black suits and black caps on, and they were literally ripping the faces off of people. It was then turned out to be, or the story was told, that it was rival gangs, and it was just a ploy to get people out of their homes so that they could burgle the homes and so on. However,
there's so many rival gangs dress up like the Green Goblin and fly around and rip people's faces off, right?
Yeah, but I mean,
totally the in thing for gang banging today is dressed like the Green Goblin, but in black, and fly around and just rip a dude's face off. That's how the G's be doing it.
It was supposedly these rival gangs that were doing it to try and force people out and so they could burgle homes and get some money or whatever. The team then went down to Peru, and they went to a couple of the villages that were involved in this. And while this team were there, they found a 15-year-old girl that had been abducted by one of these or some of these beings, and oddly enough, she had no face.
Yes.
Her face had been taken off. So they have looked at it and they've gone, there is no way under our technology that we could have done what has happened to this girl. No way.
It was enzymes. They found enzymes in there that we don't have. We do have, but we don't know how to use them properly. But they were used in these little vials. Vials. Fuck this accent. These vials that were put on, and these two chemicals, when mixed together, face come off.
Yeah.
But you're telling me the plot of Marvel was used in this, and they're saying that this was extraterrestrial.
Yes.
But it just happened to look like the Green Goblin
Yes.
in a black suit,
Well,
flying on the same hovercraft thing.
The statement I saw wasn't that they were flying around. They were there on foot, on the ground. They were wearing black suits with a black cap on. There was no identification of their faces, what their faces looked like. It was just that they were in black suits with a black hat on, and that they just literally abducted this girl. And that was it. But then obviously this group have found what's left of this girl and discovered obviously the enzymes and all that. So whether the Green Goblin type story has come from is part of the government, the Boberman cover up, and that's the story they have given out, or whatever.
There was two of them.
Right. I honestly, there's no way in hell it's like their local gangs doing it, though. If they're fucking flying around, ripping people's faces off, they're not gonna take shit from their government there. You know what I mean? If they have that tech, they're gonna become the government.
Right. I can talk normally now. There was a story that it was illegal gold mining and it was two rival gangs trying to keep people away.
That's too fucking Scooby-Doo.
Right, hang on. One of the stories, they did get a girl. Two guys got a girl, and they were about to put. She said they started mixing these chemicals out of two little vials. Was about to pour it on her, and like half the village turned up with guns, and these guys went fuck and pissed off. But she said that these two guys both spoke in South American Spanish, and one of them had a regional accent. The other one had I think she said it was Mexican or something accent, but the other one had a regional accent. And you're telling me that the aliens are coming down there and they're speaking in regional accents. That'll be like an alien abduction in Birmingham, and the aliens come down and go, "All right, we're going to fuck you up now."
Who the fuck knows what the cartel is capable of? And they're working right alongside the U.S. government. I mean, it has been proven since the fucking 80s. When we had that fucking CIA fucking helicopter come down, and they're like, "Oh, it's just filled with barrels of Mexican cocaine. Oh, I wonder why it says FBI on the side of it." Like, you guys know what story I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, we know we've got that hoverboard capability. It's been out a lot longer than they've given it credit for, because they've had these, although they've got jetpacks and stuff, they've had these.
Just look at our drones.
Yeah, and look at the like bike one you can ride.
In all seriousness, a hoverboard in the hands of a drug cartel. I could understand the military having them, and I could understand people high up in the government might have the availability to have them, but a drug cartel?
No, man. I worked in the metal industry, and there's a lot of them people who slip over in here. Yeah, they have the same gear as the U.S. military. They work hand in hand together.
Yeah,
they have the same tech.
I could understand them having guns and things like that, but I don't.
I'm telling you, man. How do you think they control shit in Mexico? They have the same tech, and they buy a lot of the tech from the U.S.
Cartels have submarines as well, like proper mini submarines with all.
There's tons of evidence of this. So the SEALs fucking banging on submarines, busting in, breaching into submarines. They're like, "Get the hell out!" And this is loaded with coke.
Can you imagine that? You're in your little submarine and all of a sudden there's a knock on the window. Hey, senor, there's someone in the window.
For you.
What's going
he
on,
just said
man?
we get green card.
But it's like the tech that we've got now. When you listen to like a lot of the whistleblowers, the Black Ops ones, the places underneath the NASCAR lines, all that sort of stuff. The tech that they've got there is 100 years ahead of anything we've got now. And they
I've
know
heard
this.
300.
Yeah. They've got. I mean, look at
300.
that.
So you can't even imagine how far ahead they are of us.
Well, apparently they have things like like what's this? This is an S9. This one, Galaxy Tab S9. They're ones that they get that these Black Ops things use are literally a piece of plexiglass like about that big, and they control everything on it, and the memory in it is it's either crystal or bio. I can't remember what they said. It's either crystal or bio, and it this little tiny sliver of whatever the fuck is in there can store gigs and gigs and gigs and gigs and gigs and gigs of this stuff. And these things, these one little tablets that they use, put any of our supercomputers to shame. And they've already got.
I heard the new thing about putting using DNA as memory
That's right.
storage.
That's right, little
And
brain,
it's like
brain.
so much you can store on it. It's like ridiculous.
Well, they're growing
I mean,
brains, aren't they? Tiny brains.
That was like them organisms or whatever they're called, where they're using stem cells to make robots out of.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm talking about that, and it's real and it's creepy. And then there's where they're using dead organisms to make technology out of.
Yep.
Yeah, we mentioned that.
Science
We
has probably
mentioned that
crossed
the
the
other
line.
week. And was it Necrobots?
Yeah,
That's right.
Where
yes.
they brought the
With the
spider back
spiders.
to life and made
Yes.
it move.
Have you ever seen Universal Soldier?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which means if they're openly telling us about they're doing this with insects, what are they not telling us about?
Well, if they can do it with an insect, they'll do it with something. They'll do it with other things.
Yeah, I'm sure there's been
But
a
it
chimp,
stands to reason because
a
it's
bear, and
human.
probably a
It's
couple
human.
people.
It's human curiosity. If you can do it with a spider, the person that's developed that is going to go, well, I could do it to something bigger. And then, well, I can do it to something bigger. And it will just keep going on and on and on until they get to, wow, look at this.
Bites
I've
us in the
actually
ass.
managed to redo this on a human.
There are some things that are going to come back and bite people in the ass. There really are. Some of the things that's going on now, like AI, the way AI is going, I really, really, really urge certain governments.
I am way more worried about them using stem cells to make robots with. I will pick the AI if we stop doing that, because that's literally a living organism. Why once they get so evolved, why shouldn't they have rights? Because they're literally alive.
The problem is if you mix the two, it's even worse.
That's what I said.
That's
AI,
what they're doing. They're literally stem cells in a robot body.
have you played the game Mass Effect or do you know anything about the story?
Yes, a little bit.
Right, you know what I mean. What I mean when I say the Geth. Right, you got a race called the Quarians who are a refugee fleet, and they live in their ships. They had to flee their planet, and the whole reason they fled their planet is because they invented a form of robots called the Geth, which used AI and stem cells and things like that. These things became self-aware, self-sentient, wanted rights for themselves. They gave them rights, and then one day they turned around and said, "Fuck you, we're going to wipe you all out." And these things, the Geth, tried to kill every single one of their creators, and then went from planet to planet to planet, trying to wipe out all Quarians, all humans, or anything. So there was only the Geth left. Makes you think.
A bit like the Borg then.
Yeah.
No, the Borg assimilated, didn't they? They took in their technology. The Geth didn't.
Yeah, but
They
still-
Yeah, that's right. Because you could at least become a Borg.
They still went from place to place killing people, basically, didn't they? Turning them into them.
It kind of reminds me of what Mark said, more like the automatons and Helldivers, where they're just like, fuck everybody. There's just going to be automatons left with cyborgs.
It's scary when you think about it. It's scary the way things are going at the moment. I do think there are certain things that they need to stop and take proper stock of and go, should we be going this far? Is this going to come back and bite us in the ass?
I
Because
still think a
obviously-
bunch of that shit came from extraterrestrials, and they're just like, here, we're going to give you the dumbest shit that we have, and we're going to screw you over. Yeah.
Look at Admiral Byrd. Look at the stuff that's going on with Admiral Byrd, or that he did and that he claims. Look at the Glocker, which mysteriously disappeared in all the papers, you know.
Look how both of our governments listen in on all of us.
Oh,
That wasn't like that like 20 fucking years ago.
Oh, we know about that, don't we, Mark?
Yeah,
Listening in on it.
Yeah, we've had that before. And the hell is that? It's been very interesting when all comments and commenting and talking gets cut off, and you have to restart the show again because it's all been cut off. But
Or if you bring up a topic that involves a bunch of senators and governors, and then they don't like it, and they tell you you're going to be completely banned off of every Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. I've been through that one.
I would know. I've never been in Facebook jail.
What you said.
Oh, this was in jail. This was, we're gonna completely erase your network because you talked about them. Don't do it again. And I was all like, hey, I'm a little guy from Wisconsin. Please leave me alone. I will stop. That's why I'm still here.
It's the thing with this is I like to think that we're not rebel rousers, we're not shit stirrers. We do talk about the truth, and things that we've spoken about in the shows normally comes to light about 3 years after we've spoken about it. We're not people who can see the future or anything. We just do research. That's it. If you do research in the right places, you'll find stuff that's going on. You'll find, and it's not stuff that's hidden, but it's certain sections of certain bobberments can put stuff in certain places where you wouldn't think to look. So if you go and have a look, it's out there in public. So it's not illegal to go and look, but you can go and look, and then you'll find it and go, why the hell is this here? You know, why is this mixed up with a bunch of sandwich recipes? You know, but anything that we've spoken about over the course of the whole of the Dark Mirror show, because Dark Mirror show has been going about 10 years, has happened like 2 or 3 laters after we've done a show about it. It's happened. When we spoke about Warp Speed and what's the other one? Warp Speed and
Of engines.
there's another speed in there. They have impulse speed and warp speed. We've spoken about impulse engines and warp engines, and sure enough, it's happened. They now have an impulse engine, and the warp engine is going to be here. Is it 3 years or next year? I can't remember.
It was
I
something
think
like
it's
that.
next year.
Yeah. Well, again, we spoke about this when I lived at the old place. So it's about 3 or 4 years ago we spoke about these, and it's come out. You know, we spoke about pockets folding space time, so it'd be a pocket, and you can travel from one end to the other, and it's
The
happened.
dark side of the moon.
Yeah, we spoke about Dark Side of the Moon and how there were bombed out remains of buildings up there, and everybody was like, yeah. We saw the Chinese website that showed the photos of this. We brought it up in. We were going to show it on here. Everything was erased from the whole of the internet, or anything to do with that. And we'd seen it. Wayne and I'd seen it, and we were like, what the fuck? And we brought this up on the show. 3 years later, China sends the Chang'e rover to it. So, you know.
Okay.
What the lottery results were going to be.
I'm gonna give you one that you'll enjoy. I saw this.
Great. Thank you very much.
I saw this yesterday.
Spit in your hand first.
Now we've talked about this before. We've also talked about how the American government had said, yeah, Operation Blue Book was ended, and then it came up under a different name, and that ended, and now we don't do anything at all, and then there was disclosure and everything else. Now we know for a fact that there are some governments around the world that are quite happy to share information in regards to UAP sightings and abductions, so on and so forth. However,
It's not my government.
yeah, and ours apparently. Now this is quite interesting. The UK government says it no longer investigates UFOs, but the government and the MOD had just confirmed that 2 members of staff from Defence Intelligence attended the inaugural Unidentified Anomalous Phenomenon Working Group meeting held in the Pentagon last year.
How
Well, I
American
have-
sounding of you guys.
And I have got the letter that states that that's what they were doing. There we go.
What the letter states that that's what they were doing when they don't do that.
Yep. That actually confirms that 2 members of staff from MOD Defence Intelligence went to the Pentagon to do a working group about UAPs. So they can't deny now that they don't investigate UFOs because they're sending staff to go to these committees.
It's silly. It's like we've spoken about before, and when Josh started joining us, we've spoken about before. Like most of the, apart from the main bombardments, but most of the other bombardments, including Russia, have turned around and said, "Yeah, there's people from out, different places. They come and visit us. We've known about it for hundreds, if not thousands of years, and yet you still get the main bombardments going, nah, nothing to see here, nothing to see here, while the rest of the world has gone, actually, there is something to see here. Look, and it's silly now. It has got to the point where the main bombardments need to turn around and go, yeah, right, because they can't keep covering it up. They can't keep lying because we all know now, and it's just pointless covering it up anymore.
Yeah.
It really is.
Totally.
Whether they're here for good, whether they're here for bad, we need to be let in so we know what to do with ourselves. I've seen this. I've seen War of New York. What's it called?
Battle for LA.
Battle for LA, because that was based loosely on the Battle for New York, wasn't it? And you remember in the Second World War when that UAP arrived and they were all shooting at it, and it was in the paper.
Well, there was really a battle of Los Angeles. There was a situation.
That was LA, not
where the
New York.
artillery unloaded on a bunch of shit.
That's right. But nothing on this thing that was over the skies in New York in the Second World War. Nothing hit it, and it had a shield. And you could see the shield, So,
maybe that was Die Glocke.
Maybe.
It is very strange how Die Glocke has mysteriously vanished, and the one side is trying to push it that Die Glocke worked, and they went boom and vanished out of this timeline.
It's in Area 51.
Yeah. I was literally just about to say the other side have all gone. All the whistleblowers have gone. Actually, no, it's in Area 51, or was in Area 51. It's in Skunkworks now. But yeah, it didn't disappear. It did disappear, but it was taken by the bombardments.
Eric's just come out with something. It's because the government has the whistleblowers coming out and they can't be stopped. They can. One of them has just recently died.
Which one?
I can't remember what his name was, but I saw it on a news feed. UAP whistleblower died.
Lou Elizondo, as he issued a statement saying, "I'm of sound mind. I am not ill. I'm not dying or anything. If anything happens to me,
Really? Wow.
Next few months." Yeah, Lou Elizondo, who I thought was a bombardment plant, but he's come out and said, "If anything happens to me, it's them."
Yeah.
Hey guys, excuse me. I have to step away for a second.
Well, I was about to stop it anyway in a couple of minutes anyway, mate. Ooh, has an alien landed? But yeah, it comes to something when the likes of Lou Elizondo come forward and say, "Look, I've had death threats," and then Grush, he's come forward and said, "I've had death threats," and he did the same thing a while back, didn't he? Say, "If anything happens to me, it's not me. I'm of sound mind. I'm not suicidal. I'm not ill." And there's been quite a few of them who've had to do that now, haven't they?
Well, they've had to go into hiding because they know full well that the powers that be are going to start looking for them. They need to silence them, and they can't. So they're literally going to ground, aren't they? They're literally becoming going off into the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And they're having to hide out the way because their lives are at risk.
Yeah, exactly. But and I know they've made backups and they have an automatic thing that if anything happens to them, emails go. But we shall see what happens. I mean, at the end of the day, on here, we do our research. We research stuff that's out there for anybody to look at. We're not going on anywhere we shouldn't. Let's put it that way. It's all stuff out there you can find. But these whistleblowers, I admire them because some of the things that they're coming out with and some of the things that they're saying, and they know they've got that noose hanging over their neck. I admire them and I take my hats off to them. You know,
I think that's why a lot of the Western governments are starting to be a lot stricter and trying to put the noose around everybody's necks to keep us under control. Because we're becoming more free thinking, we're harder to control. So they're trying to
chip. Did I just see Yeti's ball bag hang? Oh, that's Josh. Hello, Josh.
Hey. What's that? Yeah, I have a Yeti.
No, because only your chin appeared in front of the camera and it looked like a Yeti's nutsack. That's what I was like. Is that a Yeti's ball bag? A little thing I watched about last night. We talk about how the governments are starting to crack down on people. Be careful if anything comes out about a thing called the Harmony chip. That's all I'll say. If that comes out and it starts being, oh, get the Harmony chip. It'll control your moods. It'll sort you out. It'll make you happy when you're sad. It watches all your heart rate and your medication. Tells you if you're going to be ill and this, that, and the other. It's a good thing to have. Don't. That's all I say. Just if that comes out, if it does become real and does come out, don't.
I'm likely to object to anything the government says for me to have.
You're right. I agree.
Especially after the last couple of years when they come out with that rubbish. You know, no one's going to trust them ever again, regardless of who's in power.
The thing is, our show, you know what we talk about? We talk about conspiracy theories, UFOs, UAPs.
I just want to add conspiracy theory is a CIA made-up word to make people who are whistleblowers sound crazy.
Yeah. That was something I read the other day as well. Yeah. I was going to say, whenever Josh is starting to look a little like Jesus. Anyway,
I'm glad you all noticed.
Shalom, Joshy. What I was gonna say.
And peace to you, brother.
Shalom, my brother.
Josh, you got any fish and any bread?
Of course, and wine.
Can you multiply them? Can you multiply them for me, please?
Of course.
What I was going to say is all the stuff we talk about on there you can find anywhere. It's nothing that's hidden or covered up. It's stuff that's put away carefully so that if you don't know how to look for stuff, you won't find it. So just like to put that out there. And as for those guys up there, our brothers from other planets, I welcome them coming down. If they're of pure intent, I have no problem with them coming down and mingling with us and saying, yeah, we're here. And trying to sort out a lot of crap that's going on in the world at the moment. No problem with that at all.
I think they're already here.
They've been here for hundreds, if not thousands of years.
Generations.
And I also think some of what we see possibly comes from under the ground.
Yeah.
I
think they both play us because our species is pretty stupid.
Yeah. The thing is, we're a warmongering species, and the thing is when you've got if those guys are watching events that are coming on down there, 3/4 of us in the world, we don't want wars or stabbings or murders or all this shit that's going on. There's actually a lot of nice people on this earth, but unfortunately, you've got a lot of corruption in a lot of echelons in every form of everything, and it's that corruption that needs to be rooted out. And on that note, shall we talk about ancient aliens and technology and stuff next week?
Sure.
Yes.
And I'd like to for Josh to tell us some more about the cryptids and stuff that's in his neck of the woods. Because
all right,
if you're up for that,
yeah.
But when you do it,
you got to do it in an Indian accent.
you got to do it in an Indian accent.
Well, you didn't specify which kind, so I'm going to do it native.
Okay, that'll do. Me big sky fella.
Oh, brother.
Anyway, on that note, everybody,
I can't. We're gonna get canceled.
everybody's watching this everywhere. Thank you for joining us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and everything else. The Things Network, Simply Spooky Network. Thank you for joining us. We will see you next week on Mondays, every Monday, 9:30 at night. And thank you very much to my co-host Wayne and my other co-host from across the pond there, young Josh, or Jesus. And he will be joining us every week as per usual, but he brings us all the news from across the pond. So shalom and shalom. And we will see everybody out there who's been watching us next week. Thank you for watching us. Remember, keep your eyes to the skies. If you see anything, tell us. You can either email us at the Dark Mirror Radio Show, @yahoo.com, or you can message myself or Wayne or Josh on any of the platforms we go out on. All right, and we'll see you all next week. Thank you for joining us. And would you like to plug your shows before we disappear?
You're the closest, Wayne. I'm on the bottom, so you go first.
I haven't got any shows until next Monday.
Oh, I'm the host of Lost at the Rabbit Hole. Come check us out.
However,
Craziness.
Oh, sorry, Josh. Keep going.
Yeah. So come check us out. Facebook, TikTok. TikTok's probably our biggest platform. YouTube is where the full shows are at.
See, I don't know how to put shows out on TikTok yet. I don't know how to put the shows out yet.
And I have to show you.
Please, if
I literally use TikTok just kind of as like trailers, and then I put everything up on YouTube and Spotify.
All right, we'll have to have a talk about that. Anyway, everybody out there, thank you for watching. Wayne, you were going to say something?
Are we on Spotify? Sorry.
I've got Spotify, yeah.
No, I mean, are we on Spotify?
I don't know how you do it. If I can do it,
I'll have to show you.
That'd be awesome. Wayne's twitching. Are you going to shit or...
Sorry.
What?
Sorry, I was doing my facial exercises.
Ladies and gentlemen, he just saw my cum face. I am mortified.
There may be a random live feed Saturday evening.
Bring your cards, Mark and Rachel.
Does everybody think I should bring this card with me on Saturday?
The cards are banned.
I think so.
The cards are banned.
I think a card and a card would be perfect.
I do.
I've passed I've passed jurisdictional law on my property that those cards are not allowed to even step foot on my property.
Anyway,
check out him, man.
Right,
simply because
check out Cards Against Humanity. They're similar.
Love that game.
We got Cards Against Disney as well. We got the two.
I have to check that out.
That's fun.
I follow Batcat. Watch Batcat.
But yeah, Saturday evening. I mean, obviously, over the moment at the time being, we are going through a meteor shower. So we are actually going through an asteroid belt, and we're actually currently in the middle of two such meteor showers that have combined together at the moment.
Once in a lifetime, isn't it?
We may actually see meteors on Saturday night, so there may be a crazy live feed. You never know.
Well, if there is,
awesome.
I was wondering, we might get a taxi to yours and back to ours, our Airbnb, so we can actually have a drink with you. I'll bring my laptop. Remind me, because then I'll show you how to run the studio and everything. Everybody out there, thank you very, 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 very much for watching us all. I'm sorry I wasn't here last week. I was in hospital. Everything's a lot better now. Thank you very much. And we will see you all next week. So shalom, Jackie, and we'll see you all soon. Bye.
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 No, I'm straight, but thank you for asking.